Exercising breakers over 400 amps without shutting down power demands specialized equipment, a meticulously planned procedure, and stringent adherence to safety precautions. It's crucial to understand that while some may propose cheaper bypass solutions, these often present unacceptable safety risks and potential damage to equipment. Therefore, the focus will be on a safe and effective methodology. Firstly, let's discuss the essential equipment required for safely exercising these large breakers. A current limiter is vital. This device limits the current passing through the breaker during the testing phase. By limiting the current, you prevent potential damage to the breaker and the surrounding electrical system if a fault were to occur during the exercise. The current limiter should be appropriately rated for the voltage and anticipated fault current levels of the system under test. Secondly, a temporary bypass switch is required. This switch allows power to be temporarily diverted around the breaker while it is being tested. The bypass switch should be rated for the full load current of the circuit it is bypassing and be of a robust design suitable for repeated use. Thirdly, adequate safety gear. Electrical work of this nature necessitates the use of appropriate personal protective equipment. This includes insulated gloves rated for the voltage levels present, safety glasses to protect against arc flash and flying debris, and arc-rated clothing to minimize burn injuries in the event of an electrical arc. Now, let's outline the step-by-step procedure for exercising these breakers. The first and foremost step is to de-energize the circuit in a controlled manner. This involves disconnecting all loads downstream of the breaker and opening the main breaker that feeds the circuit you'll be working on. This isolation ensures that no unexpected loads are energized during the process. The second step involves installing the current limiter. Connect the current limiter in series with the breaker that's slated for testing. The specific connection method will depend on the type of current limiter being used, but it's crucial to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The third step entails establishing the temporary bypass. Install the temporary bypass switch and close it. Closing the bypass switch re-energizes the circuit, routing the power around the breaker that is about to be tested. Ensure that the bypass switch is securely closed and properly engaged before proceeding. The fourth step is to trip the breaker. Manually trip the breaker using its trip button or, if available, its remote trip function. This simulates an overcurrent condition and allows you to assess the breaker's response time. The fifth step involves measuring the trip time. Using a timer or a recording device, precisely record the amount of time it takes for the breaker to trip after you initiate the tripping action. Compare this trip time to the manufacturer's specifications to determine if the breaker is operating within acceptable parameters. The sixth step entails closing the breaker. Once the trip time has been recorded and evaluated, close the breaker using its toggle switch. Ensure that the breaker closes smoothly and firmly. The seventh step is to open the temporary bypass. Open the temporary bypass switch to restore the regular power flow through the breaker. This step returns the system to its normal operating configuration. The eighth step is to repeat for other breakers. Exercise all breakers requiring testing, using the same procedure outlined above. Consistency in the procedure ensures accurate and comparable results. Now, let's briefly address why cheap bypass solutions are strongly discouraged. One common suggestion is creating a temporary jumper using insulated wire to connect the input and output terminals of the breaker being tested. Another is using a manually operated bypass switch rated for the current being tested. While these solutions may seem cost-effective, they introduce significant safety hazards. Firstly, the risk of accidental contact with live parts is greatly increased. If the jumper or bypass switch is not properly insulated or securely connected, there's a high probability of electrical shock. Secondly, these makeshift solutions often lack adequate overcurrent protection. If a fault occurs during the test, the jumper or bypass switch may not be able to handle the fault current, leading to equipment damage or even an electrical fire. Thirdly, the absence of proper engineering oversight can lead to unforeseen consequences. A qualified electrical engineer should always be involved in the design and implementation of any bypass solution to ensure its safety and effectiveness. Therefore, despite the allure of cost savings, prioritizing safety and adhering to established procedures are paramount. Always utilize properly rated and tested equipment, and never compromise on safety for the sake of convenience or budget. Now, let's underscore some essential safety precautions that must be observed throughout the entire process. Firstly, diligently follow all safety protocols and lockout/tagout procedures. Before commencing any work, ensure that the breaker and its associated circuitry are properly de-energized and locked out to prevent accidental re-energization. Tag the lockout point with a clear warning label indicating that work is in progress. Secondly, only use approved test equipment and strictly adhere to the manufacturer's instructions. Using unapproved or improperly maintained test equipment can lead to inaccurate readings and potentially hazardous conditions. Always read and understand the manufacturer's instructions before operating any test equipment. Thirdly, ensure adequate ventilation and wear appropriate safety gear at all times. Electrical work can generate heat and potentially release hazardous fumes. Adequate ventilation helps to dissipate heat and remove harmful substances from the work area. Always wear insulated gloves, safety glasses, and arc-rated clothing to protect yourself from electrical hazards. Fourthly, exercise breakers only during non-critical hours or when an alternate power source is available. Testing breakers can temporarily interrupt power to critical loads. Therefore, it's best to perform these tests during periods of low demand or when an alternate power source, such as a generator, can be used to maintain power to essential equipment. Fifthly, thoroughly inspect breakers for any damage or abnormalities after testing. After completing the testing process, carefully inspect the breakers for any signs of damage, such as cracks, discoloration, or loose connections. If any abnormalities are detected, consult with a qualified electrician to determine the appropriate course of action. In summary, exercising large breakers without power shutdown requires a systematic approach that prioritizes safety above all else. By using appropriate equipment, following established procedures, and adhering to stringent safety precautions, you can effectively test and maintain these critical components of your electrical system. Remember, when it comes to electrical safety, there's no room for compromise. It's also very important to document the results. Maintain meticulous records of all testing activities, including the date, time, breaker identification, test results, and any observations made. This documentation will be invaluable for tracking the performance of the breakers over time and identifying potential issues before they escalate. Also, calibrate test equipment regularly. Ensure that all test equipment used for exercising breakers is calibrated regularly according to the manufacturer's recommendations. Calibration ensures that the equipment is providing accurate and reliable readings, which is essential for making informed decisions about the condition of the breakers. It is also critical to train personnel adequately. Only qualified and trained personnel should be allowed to perform breaker testing. Training should cover the proper use of test equipment, safety procedures, and the interpretation of test results. Regular refresher training should also be provided to ensure that personnel remain up to date on the latest best practices. Furthermore, conduct a hazard assessment. Before commencing any breaker testing, conduct a thorough hazard assessment to identify potential risks and implement appropriate control measures. The hazard assessment should consider factors such as the voltage levels involved, the potential for arc flash, and the presence of any flammable materials. It's important to establish clear communication protocols. Establish clear communication protocols between all personnel involved in the breaker testing process. This ensures that everyone is aware of the testing activities and can respond appropriately in the event of an emergency. Communication protocols should include procedures for reporting hazards, coordinating activities, and escalating concerns. One must also consider environmental factors. When testing breakers in harsh environments, such as those with high humidity or extreme temperatures, take additional precautions to protect equipment and personnel. Use weatherproof enclosures to protect test equipment from moisture and ensure that personnel are properly hydrated and protected from the elements. It also helps to consult with manufacturers. Consult with the breaker manufacturer for specific recommendations on testing procedures and equipment. The manufacturer may have valuable insights into the unique characteristics of the breakers and can provide guidance on how to best test them. Also, ensure proper grounding. Proper grounding is essential for electrical safety. Ensure that all test equipment and the breaker being tested are properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. Use a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, to protect against ground faults. Furthermore, manage cable runs carefully. Route cables and wires carefully to prevent tripping hazards and to protect them from damage. Use cable trays or conduits to keep cables organized and out of the way. Avoid running cables across walkways or in areas where they could be easily damaged. When the exercise is complete, conduct a post-test review. After completing the breaker testing, conduct a post-test review to identify any lessons learned and to improve the testing process. The review should involve all personnel who participated in the testing and should focus on identifying areas where the process could be made safer, more efficient, or more effective. Finally, establish an emergency response plan. Establish an emergency response plan that outlines the steps to be taken in the event of an accident or emergency. The plan should include procedures for contacting emergency services, providing first aid, and evacuating the area. Ensure that all personnel are familiar with the emergency response plan and know how to implement it. Exercising breakers over 400 amps is a complex and potentially hazardous task that requires careful planning, specialized equipment, and a thorough understanding of electrical safety principles. By following these guidelines, you can minimize the risks and ensure that the testing process is conducted safely and effectively. In addition to the above, it's beneficial to leverage technology to enhance the safety and efficiency of breaker testing. Consider using remote monitoring systems that allow you to monitor the breaker's performance from a safe distance. These systems can provide real-time data on voltage, current, and temperature, allowing you to identify potential problems before they escalate. Also, utilize infrared thermography to inspect breakers for hotspots. Infrared thermography can be used to identify hotspots on breakers, which can indicate loose connections, overloaded circuits, or other problems. By identifying these issues early, you can prevent equipment failures and improve safety. Furthermore, consider employing arc flash analysis software. Arc flash analysis software can be used to calculate the potential arc flash hazard associated with breaker testing. This information can be used to select appropriate personal protective equipment and to develop safe work practices. Another key point is to continuously improve the process. Regularly review and update your breaker testing procedures to incorporate new technologies, best practices, and lessons learned. By continuously improving the process, you can enhance safety, efficiency, and the overall effectiveness of your breaker maintenance program. It's also important to remember that safety is not just about following procedures, it's about creating a culture of safety. Encourage all personnel to speak up if they see something that doesn't look right and to challenge any unsafe practices. By fostering a culture of safety, you can create a workplace where everyone is committed to preventing accidents and injuries. Also, consider the impact on the surrounding environment. When testing breakers, take steps to minimize the impact on the surrounding environment. Dispose of waste materials properly, prevent spills, and avoid disturbing sensitive ecosystems. Finally, stay informed about changes in regulations and standards. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, and regulations and standards are updated regularly. Stay informed about these changes and ensure that your breaker testing practices are in compliance with the latest requirements. Exercising breakers over 400 amps is a critical task that requires a comprehensive approach to safety and maintenance. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your breakers are operating safely and reliably, protecting your electrical system and the people who work with it.